live stream edition of the Supply Chain Events Update. We are joined today by my friend on the other side of the pond, John Thornton, calling in from the London area. John, how is the weather over there? It is 108 degrees here in Dallas today.
Well, in Celsius, it's 21 degrees here in London. So it's actually cooled down a little bit following a rather long heat wave. Well,
Right.
five, actually, five heat waves to be precise. So yeah, it's a welcome change
I've
to
been
the
hearing about that.
conditions. Yeah.
Did you fare okay in those heat waves? Do you have AC?
No, I don't. And I'm definitely more of a autumn winter kind of guy. So it's been a bit of a slog, Nathan.
I've been thinking in the
Honest.
back of my head, if I had lots of money to invest, I would go invest in AC, like global air condition companies, because these heat waves just seem to be something that is just becoming more and more frequent everywhere.
Yeah, well, it's top of my Christmas list for ahead of next summer.
Okay, all right, all right. Hashtag homeowner goals.
Yes.
Um, so we are gonna chat real quick about the upcoming IntraLogistex event going on here in Dallas. I'll let you kind of just kick things off. We'll roll over to the page and give us a quick highlight reel here, I guess.
Yeah, sure. So Intralogistics it's a free opportunity really for the US warehousing, supply chain, logistics, and operations professionals to hear how other practitioners are tackling the issues that they face, see and compare the technology that can really help them, and meet the people behind it all in one place on September 16th and 17th at
Hmm.
the K. Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah. I am excited to be there. This will be my first one to actually be in person for. And well, I guess it makes sense because it's just right here in my backyard. Um, Also, I'll maybe we'll just quick mention the Supply Chain Excellence Awards also taking place the night before.
Yeah, that's right. So we've got the third edition of the Supply Chain Excellence Awards USA taking place the night before Intralogistics at Union Station on September 15th. And the awards really celebrate what's working, and then Intralogistics explores what comes next. So we recognize some of the brilliant real world supply chain projects on the Tuesday nights, and then spend the next 2 days looking at the technologies and the strategies that could really help shape the next generation of those projects.
All right, all right. One thing that I'm actually also excited about is that y'all have invited me to put together a bit of a panel. And of course, the show itself is largely about intra logistics or the things that go on within the four walls of a warehouse. But
Mhm.
of course, being the person who likes to color outside the lines that I am, and also the someone who likes to try to include and think about the big picture of the entire supply chain, what I've done is I've gone out and I've gathered four of the representatives of different areas of the supply chain industry that all basically lead organizations here in the DFW market specifically. So we've got Lila, who's one of the smartest folks I know in the global trade industry, imports, exports, compliance, all that sort of good stuff. Brent, who's the president of the Transportation Club of DFW. Dave, who's been the president of the Institute for Supply Management. That's all your procurement and sourcing folks. And then Amanda, who leads the ASCM, the Association of Supply Chain Management. So we've got these four different sort of perspectives, and what we're going to do is we're going to try to pull them all in and talk about those stakeholders that also do have some input and some stake in what goes on within the four walls, and we'll make those connections there. So I'm really excited about that. Is there any other sort of speakers or pieces of the event that you're excited about?
Yeah, one session that I really like actually is PepsiCo looking at where people and automation meet. So, warehouse automation conversations can sometimes be a little bit binary. It's people versus machines. Whereas I think the more useful question is kind of how you design an operation so that the two complement one each other. So PepsiCo's session is really looking at warehouse design for interaction between people and automation, and really how that can create greater flexibility and resilience. American Airlines, we've got talking about predictive maintenance, but again, not simply the technology here. It's more about how you turn sensors and alerts into actual interventions, how to reduce downtime, and work out whether, the investment is really producing a substantial return.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
just scrolling through. Y'all kind of keep adding to the list of speakers here. So I'm just, it's a little bit of a who's who of the warehouse world here. So, uh,
Mhm.
excellent, excellent. Also, I just want to do a quick shout out regarding a special elevated warehousing after dark that Kevin Lawton and myself are hosting on the night of September 16th. It's going to take place up in the top of Reunion Tower at the steak and sushi house called Crown Block. It is apparently the best sunset spot in the city, and we'll be up there right as the sun is setting. So, quick little mention and invite for folks to request a spot there. They don't fit a whole ton of people up in that little ball in the sky, so I would encourage folks to register soon, get a spot there. In general, let's just take a quick look at where I am going to be heading. So the next thing I'm doing is actually this week, there is a transportation event that is specifically for the defense industry transportation going on at a big Army fort here in Texas called Fort Hood that specifically work on the logistics end of things for the U.S. Army. Heading up to Chicago for Clio, and then we got IntraLogistex, of course, as we're speaking about here, along with a bunch of other things. Taking a look at what's going on in the bigger economy, in the bigger space within supply chain, Breeze Hub is hosting a super cool looking yacht party. This is taking place in New York Harbor. That was an opportunity, but I had to pass on being there. But Kevin Lawton will be there as well as a lot of other folks that we know. And then just a quick note that the Transportation Club of DFW is hosting their next big event this week on Thursday as well. So that's about it for the quick wrap up. What else is on your mind? Any other sort of like last call outs before we wrap up this week's edition of the events update, John?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to touch upon some of the exhibitors that we also have at IntraLogistex. We've got a really broad mix of technology on the floor as well. We have companies such as Exotech, Quicktron Robotics, Lucas Systems, EPG, Identitech, Contora Robotics, and they're going to be covering areas such as, of course, robotics and automation, warehouse software, AI, voice control, material visibility, and warehouse execution. If you're actively looking at automation or warehouse technology, you can potentially compress weeks of research or vendor calls or meetings into just one day at IntraLogistex. And, you don't need to arrive already knowing what you need to buy. If you're still asking what should we be investing in next, then that probably is one of the best reasons to attend IntraLogistex.
Good point. Good point. I think that, you hear a lot of best practices of folks that you should go to a conference with something in mind, a couple of problems that you're looking to solve. But I think it's also smart to just be open to that serendipitous, conversation at the coffee bar or whatnot that may uncover an opportunity or something that you didn't really know was a problem and that had a solution to it. And so I do think it's good to go into things with a plan, but also just be open to what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I mentioned before, it's free to attend. So, by all means, please do visit intralogistexusa.com and hit the registration button at the right-hand top of the screen. And we'd love to spend the day with you.
All right. Awesome. Thanks for coming on, John. And I'll see you here. Will you be here? I guess that's a question. Are you coming to town?
Yes, I will be. I will be
Okay.
there in Dallas. Yeah.
All right.
So,
All right. All of our hotel rooms all have air conditioning here. So do not worry.
fantastic news.
You're gonna be in for a treat.
Music to my ears.
All right. Catch you later, John.
All right. Thanks, Nathan.
All right. Don't actually